For me personally, I would find something that the dog does find valuable, and I would use that in place of food. Food is one reward option. There are hundreds of reward options. It just has to be something that the dog finds valuable.
Right.
So if I broke this down, I might try a toy, right? I might try a toy as a reward for good behavior. And using a toy takes a little bit of a different nuance and finesse, but it is definitely still doable. So for example, if I wanted to reward my dog for sitting at the door when I'm using a toy, what does that look like?
I'm going to use the toy as the reward. When the dog does a job well done, I'm going to say yes and toss them the toy, or yes and tug, and we're going to play.
Exactly. So if you have a dog that's not keen on food, but they love toys, that's a really quick fix there as well.
Yes.
But
I would also try to build some food drive too.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for times to do my walks when the dog's a little bit hungrier.
Yeah.
And I'm going to we have an excellent video on YouTube, and it's building drive in puppies that aren't interested in food. So it's a great video to watch, and it'll give you some ideas and some games that can just get your dog turned on to food a little bit more.
Yeah, there's some really good ideas in that video. Good idea. And then, so if I have a dog that isn't quite into food, and I'm building food drive, but in the interim, I want to work with them. Toy is a great other option. Anything they like is a good other option.
Yes.
So I always use butt scratches as an example, because Ned loves a good butt scratch. So I use that a lot in my reward system. I use snow throwing in my reward system. I use all sorts of things.
Did you notice the Buffalo Bills when they were playing, every time they got a touchdown the other day when they played in the big cold game on Monday?
I didn't watch.
All the fans were throwing snow because they had the huge blizzard before. So
Ned would have been thrilled.
Yes. Yeah. There's every time they got a touchdown, you see so much snow being thrown around the stadium.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Yes.
Now, in the situation where I have a dog who goes, no, not into food. No, not into toys. No, not into anything but getting out that door for the walk. Guess what I am going to use as my reward?
Getting out to the door for the walk.
Got it.
Yes.
You got it.
Yes.
So, in this case where I need to break it down to the simplest reward I can give my dog, it's going to be you sit, and then we get to go. Yes, we get to actually leave and go for that walk. And if my dog pulls at that point, well, I'm going to turn around and we're going to come back in, and I'm going to try again. And he's not going to get to progress with the walk until I'm not getting dragged out the door again.
Right.
But the reward of me actually saying yes and letting him go through the door is going to help to move that little marker of understanding to the point where he goes, oh, okay. So I get to go as long as I'm not pulling on that leash sort of thing. And, sometimes thinking outside the box a little bit with dog training is a really quick way of getting to a solution depending on the dog. So don't ever hesitate to think outside the box. Do you have any other thoughts on building rewards there?
Well, just on thinking outside the box, I had a Saluki, and she wasn't super food motivated. I had to work on that, and she ended up being, but it took some time for me to get that drive in her. And she also wasn't very toy motivated. And I discovered that she loved toys that were made out of fur. So, show her a little rubber squeaky. She's like, oh, that's boring. But show her a little furry, toy made out of rabbit fur or mink fur. She was over the top and loved it. And so my training just went boom once I discovered she liked furry toys. So, I had to do a little bit of investigating online to find people who made fur toys, but it made a huge difference in my training.
Fantastic.
So sometimes you got to experiment and think out of the box a little bit.
Absolutely.
And but you will find that one thing that turns your dog on.
Yeah. And they all like something. So, we've had to be pretty creative over the years with a lot of dogs to figure out what they like, but there's
some dogs would rather lick treats too, rather than eat a treat. So sometimes bringing a syringe with cream cheese in it, it's very novel to the dog, and you squirt that little bit of cream cheese out the syringe, and the dog's like, I love this. Or Cheese Whiz.